So next up, we've got The Invisible Man from 2020. I don't know if this is exactly a remake because I haven't seen any of these older movies. I think there's one from the 30s and from the 80s. I'm sure you have, so maybe you can let us know if this is a remake or just like another version or
I
whatever.
mean, yeah, I'd say, I mean, remake, I think is probably fine. I mean, the original The Invisible Man came out in 1933, and it's like a 72-minute movie. It's a pretty short movie. A lot of the Universal classics were back then, Dracula, Frankenstein. So this obviously, I mean, like most remakes add a bit more. So this adds a little more. So I mean, I think it's fine calling it a remake. There are some differences I sort of want to point out later on, but I think calling it a remake's pretty fair.
I'm sure some of the plot details a bit different, but yeah, in any case, it's got the same title as these other movies, so I guess we can go with that. But essentially, this woman who escapes from her abusive partner, Adrian, and she attempts to move on with her life. She can barely go outside without freaking out, and as she slowly improves, she finds out that Adrian supposedly committed suicide, so he's dead now, and she doesn't have to worry about leaving the house and being attacked by him. But obviously, it's being that this is called the Invisible Man, we can expect that he's not dead, and it just ends up being an elaborate plot to stalk her, and he's wearing this invisible suit that he developed because he's like really good at sciencey shit. I don't know, and he wants a baby and all this other shit. I mean, there's stuff to this, but as I was saying before the show, this is the last movie I watched before the cinemas shut down from COVID. I watched it in Gold Class. Gold Class here is, where you can, they bring you food and all this kind of stuff while you watch your movie, so, and you get to lay back in comfy chairs and stuff like that. So I don't know if it was that experience that made it a little easier to get through the movie. I'm not saying that I had a hard time getting through it on the second attempt, but I did feel it felt a little slower than when I first saw it. I don't know if that's a cinema effect or what, but maybe it's also just the fact I've seen it before, so I'm just the suspenseful parts of it. They lose a little bit of its oomph because you kind of know what's coming, and you know what it's building up to, so you kind of just want to get to the stuff that it's building up to. But I think this is still an enjoyable movie. I think the suit idea is pretty cool, and to be honest, I mean, with all the advancements we've had over the past few decades, somewhat realistic at this point in time. So yeah, I think it's an enjoyable movie, but it's it's not fantastic. It does have still some issues, but anyways, what did you think of this one?
Yeah, so this is one that I've been interested in seeing since I saw the trailer for it. It's a decent movie. I prefer the 33 movie more just because, I mean, talk about classic scenes and actors in the original. I mean, this one's fine. I do want to say the main actress, Elizabeth Mouse, is an actress I know from a American TV show called The West Wing. She appeared in like,
Nah, you watch Mad Men.
well, I've actually never seen Mad Men, but it's probably a
Well,
good
it
show.
does have Christina Big Titties Hendricks.
Yes, but in this movie you have Elizabeth Mouse, and I think she does pretty good. She's with a clearly abusive guy. I wish we would have seen. We never really see him before she breaks away, so we don't really see exactly how bad he actually is. We sort of just hear about it afterwards, in sort of vague terms, which I think sort of in a way it sort of increases like, oh my god, I'm so afraid of this guy. So I really like her performance. I think it's really interesting they went with the whole like almost like psychological aspect, like into up into a certain point it could be theoretically could be that she's just sort of losing it and she just thinks he's around even though he may not be. And this is another character in the movie who brings that idea up, and as soon as it's brought up, it's like, oh well, it's probably not going to be that. So it was an interesting sort of psychological look at it. I think the suit it looks cool, but I'll be honest and just say sort of like I guess nowadays the way the original movie did it would be too almost awkward. He had a serum that made him invisible, and he'd just walk around naked.
It's more like a
so
Hollow Man type
I
thing.
yeah. So I can imagine nowadays it might be like, oh, there's an invisible naked guy in the room with a I don't know how old the daughter of the cop was, but I can see how that might be challenging. But I don't know, I didn't like love the suit idea mainly because as soon as it started, I'm like, oh god, it's a sci-fi movie now. Um, and this it's not it's still a horror movie, but it just felt a bit futuristic-ish. I mean, so, technology has come a long way. I'm not sure if it's come quite that far, but I don't know the movie's interesting. It makes some interesting choices. Like the main character has a sister, and I was really shocked when something happened to the sister. I didn't see it coming because it was invisible. So that was interesting. And also this sort of later on in the movie where Elizabeth Moss's character is spending time in like a mental institution type thing. Luckily, a lot of what she is saying that got her there is vindicated toward the end because they actually see this guy in the suit and there's a lot of witnesses. So I'm really happy they brought that up. Um, I don't know. I'm also not like extraordinarily wowed by the ending. Not that any of these criticisms are like, I don't know. The movie's still a decent movie. I had an okay time with it. I was never particularly bored with it, but it just I wish there was a I wish they had either gone a different direction or done things a bit differently because it wasn't like an I was hoping for like a B plus movie and I didn't really get that. I mean it's an okay movie. It's just not a great movie.
I think I was just more upset that he ended up ruining a pretty good breakfast.
Yeah. Um. Talk about a very small, but I mean, dickish move. Like just, I mean, it was still a great looking breakfast. It was okay. I would have eaten that and had an okay time with it. And I do like the way they shot that scene though. Just focusing on the kitchen and I can only imagine in cinemas, you're sitting back and trying to see what's happening, and then you slowly see the flame being moved up. So that was fun.
Yeah, well, the opening sequences or sequence to this movie, along with the title, the water washing up, showing all the credits and stuff, that was so dark to see while watching it last night. I don't know. Did you feel like? Did you struggle to read what it was like the credits and?
I did struggle to read it. I thought it was a pretty I don't want to say innovative. I thought it was pretty interesting the way they did that. I'm not sure if it's necessary, but I don't know. I can see what you're saying.
But anyways, the restaurant kill. I mean, that was pretty unexpected. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, talk about. I mean, it's now. I will say I was sort of annoyed at the sister. Like she's all angry about this email, and I get it, but it's not like an email can't be hacked. Like it's not like ouch a secret. Like so it's easily it's not like it's difficult for somebody else to sign an email under somebody's name. So like not giving her sister like a chance to explain it, that sort of annoyed me. But she probably did not deserve a slit throat.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have too much to say about this movie, to be honest. I mean, it's enjoyable, but only to a point. But it is written and directed. Well, I think it was written and directed by Leigh Whannell, my homeboy. But if he's out there listening, he needs to hit me up. I got this great movie idea called Cyborg-G. It's a cyborg orgy. So just
yes, because after Insidious and Invisible Man, that is going to be his next project.
Hit me up. We'll do lunch.
Yes. So I think there's a lot of decent scenes in the movie. I like the whole the attic sequence where she goes up to the attic and then hears some noises and drops some paint down and then boom, we see this guy. It's effective. It's not like it's necessarily surprising. But it's well done.
How did he get the paint off his suit?
Yeah. And speaking of which, I do like how toward the end during the whole Armando Institution escape scene, she damages the suit sufficiently enough that it's sort of like flickering in and out, which is sort of cool looking. But I don't know. It's like one of those things. I thought the scene was decent, but I wasn't blown away by it. I did like the black cop. I thought he was a pretty good character. I mean, letting this one woman stay at your place, who I'm not sure how well they knew each other. I'm not like it seems like the cop is more friends with the sister of the main character than the main character herself. But he was a pretty nice guy. I mean, it helps though that this woman who's now rich is going to give your daughter a bunch of money to go to college. So well done. Speaking of which, if I got that much money, that would be a great experience. So if you're like a billionaire, hit me up. We can do lunch. I'm a pretty nice guy. So yeah, I think the movie's decent. I'm not sure if it's like the best horror movie of 2020, but to be fair, I've not seen like a whole lot from last year. But I can obviously this came out just before the COVID thing hit, like Chucky said. So it's probably one of the most viewed horror movies of 2020. So I see why it's a decent movie. I just don't think it's great. And if you want to see this toy trimmed down a bit with a lot more classic imagery, you should watch the 1933 original movie. So
I have a feeling I won't enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think I gave the original like a 9 out of 10, but this one, I think it's a decent movie. It's just not great. I'm going to give this a 7.5, which is just above average. I'm going to round that down to a 7 out of 10. I think it's okay, but it's not like much more than that.
Yeah, I think it's a decent movie. It's enjoyable, like I said, to a point. Yeah, I'm giving this a 7 out of 10. I think my main gripe is that we didn't get a scene where, like, she's sleeping and he's like, taking off her pants or anything like that. So, I mean, you're invisible. You got an opportunity to do some things like that. So.
You wanted some like blood harvest type stuff to happen.
Yeah. For reals.
Yes.